Hi everyone, welcome to the next video. This is my Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 jacket, self-made jacket, connection with the previous video and with my love for the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and for all Nightmare on Elm Street films. In this video I'm going to talk about the next sequel, about Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. At first I thought that I should make a video where I would talk about all sequels, all films, all Nightmare on Elm Street films, including the original one and the circumstances, how I saw them and everything. But then I realized it's better to break it up into several videos, because especially because of Part 5 has two versions. Because of Part 5 it has two versions, uncut and cut version. And there was that element of my confusion over that when I was a kid. So I'm going to talk about that in this video and about the film itself. If you didn't know, the Part 5 has an uncut version and the cut version. Uncut version you can find still on some old VHS release. And cut version you can officially find on the DVD box set and in some of the subsequent releases, originally I first saw Part 5, uncut version of Part 5, so on VHS, and I rented it in the same video club where I rented Part 4 shortly after Part 4, and I really liked the film. I thought it was great, and there was a shift in tone from Part 4, but I still really liked it. The Part 5 was more gothic. It was more infused with the gothic imagery, and Stephen Hopkins, the director, really liked that, and he infused it with lots of gothic imagery. And Freddy was still kind of a combination of this kind of wisecracking comedian and dream demon, a horrifying dream demon, similar to the previous film, but still. But that was there's a mixture of that with this gothic imagery, and I really like that. And what I really liked also was the energy of the film, and the fluidity of the camera, and the energy of the whole film, and how certain scenes were solved, how certain transitions were solved. The scene that really got me in that way, in the beginning of the film, near the beginning of the film, there is this scene where Alice wakes up from a nightmare, where she in her nightmare she's like dreaming that she's Amanda Kruger, Freddy Krueger's mother. I'm going to talk more about the Nightmare on Elm Street universe in the subsequent videos, in some of the subsequent videos. But she dreams that she's Amanda Kruger, who is like attacked and raped by 100 maniacs in an asylum, and she wakes up from her nightmare screaming, and there close up and of her screaming face from the profile, and then the face of her boyfriend Dan enters the frame, and he's like reassuring her, Alice, everything is alright, you're dreaming, it's okay. And then he goes back and we don't see him, and then suddenly the face of Robert Englund, the actor who plays Freddy Krueger, enters the frame. We see his close up as not as Freddy Krueger, but as Robert Englund, like one of the maniacs, who is like playing one of the maniacs. We see his close up in the previous scene, in her nightmare scene, and then his face suddenly enters the frame, and he attacks her in her bed. The camera pans back, and the camera is very fluid in that scene, and the camera pans back, and we see the whole room, and we see her like lying in bed, just now completely waking up. Now there is no, Robert Englund's character. There's no Dan, her boyfriend. There's no one. She wakes up now completely. He is not attacking Robert Englund's character is not attacking her anymore, like she now wakes up completely. But the way that scene, that transition is solved and that scene is done, really got me. It was infused with so much energy, and I really liked that when I first saw it. And the whole movie is like that. The scene in the park at the beginning of the film. After that, the scene in the park after that is also the camera is very fluid, and the whole movie is like that, and I really liked that the energy generally. The Stephen Hopkins really put the effort and the energy into it, and you can see that in the film, and very energetic, and I mean the direction is very energetic, and with the combination with all the imagery and everything, it was great. I was about the uncut and cut version. I first saw uncut version. Uncut version is longer. The death scenes are longer and more detailed and more gorier, especially the scenes of the death of Dan on the motorcycle, that Giger-esque scene of his transformation and the mutation with all the flesh and the metal, and the Freddy's glove stabbing him, and the veins and everything, and it was much more detailed in the uncut version, and the Greta's death scene is much more detailed in the uncut version. It was in the cut version, she suffocates, and in her nightmare, Freddy feeds her from the plate with the doll. But in the uncut version, he also stabs her with his glove and feeds her with that, also with her own, it was so there's a lot of these moments which were cut from that version, and later on when I saw the cut version a couple of years later, because I haven't seen first I saw 4, 5, 6, 7 in the very short period, and then a couple of years later I saw 3, 2, 1, and then again 5, 6. I saw the 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the parts in the meantime, but a couple of years later I saw part 3, 2, and 1 in the other video club, and then I rented part 5 also in that other video club, and then I saw that version which was cut version, and that came from the DVD box set that came out around that time, and something was different. I didn't understood, but then back then. That was, I think it was, I didn't understood really that it was cut version, that there is a different version of the film, but something was different. That happened, I think, at summer between 4th and 5th grade of my elementary school, when I saw that cut version, rented it and saw it, and then. Later on, a couple of years later, when I researched into it more, I realized that there are 2 versions of the film, cut and uncut version. And but I saw that other version and was kind of confused. And then later I realized, okay, there are 2 versions of the same film. Part 5 got not really a lot of hate, but it was certainly less successful than Part 4. Part 4 was the most successful financially. Certainly financially more successful, most successful of all Nightmare on Elm Street films. But okay, if we don't count up to Part 7, if we don't count Freddy vs. Jason and the remake, but up to that point, Part 4 was the most successful one, and so it was. Part 5 was still, it was pretty successful, but less than Part 4, because at least the producers thought that the teenage fans didn't react well to the themes of the film and the shift of the tone of the film, which probably, but at the same time I think that the film raised some important questions and introduce some important themes. So there's like these themes of pregnancy and the abortion and all of that. And perhaps rightfully they thought that that was really not, that it was too early for part of the audience, at least for the teenage audience that saw it. But at the same time, yeah, I do think that it's a pretty good film. There are holes in the script. There are problems with that film, of course. But I do really like Part 5 also. I think it gets a lot of hate. It does not deserve the amount of hate. I mean, it doesn't get that much hate, but still it gets a lot of hate, and I don't think it really deserves that. I do really like it. I think it's for me. Sometimes it's really hard to be objective when it comes to Nightmare on Elm Street films, because they're really a big part of my childhood and teenage years and everything. But so I have that also emotional attachment and all of that. But still, I mean, I try to be as objective as possible, and I do think that Part 5 is really well done sequel, very imaginative with some really great moments, and it works as a whole. So yeah, that's all for now. See you in the next video. Bye!